Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining today's webinar, Implementing Reliable Communication Networks with Ruggedcom. My name is Connor, and I will be your moderator. Before we get started, just a few quick housekeeping things to run through. All phone lines are muted, so if you have any questions, go ahead and use the chat feature within the GoToWebinar toolbar. Presentation will run about 45 minutes or so, giving us time for questions at the end. So if questions come up during the presentation, just use the chat feature to ask those. And by attending today's webinar, you are eligible to earn TARP points. For those of you who provided your IMSA number during the sign-up process for the webinar, Western Systems will go ahead and handle that submission process for you. And lastly, today's webinar will be made available for you to view anytime on demand. You will get an email tomorrow with a link to do so. All right, with the housekeeping out of the way, I'm excited to introduce today's presenters, Curtis Daly from Siemens and Kai Antrim from Western Systems. I will turn it over to Kai.
Thank you, Connor, and good morning, everybody. We certainly appreciate you tuning in for this week's iteration of our Western Systems webinars. Starting to get used to this whole or remote webinar presenting thing. I'm not asking questions like, can anybody not hear me, and waiting confusedly for a response. So hope you guys are all adjusting to the new normal, and we appreciate you tapping in. We're getting better about trying to get these things on the calendar in advance so you can plan them out a little bit. We've got a good lineup. If you guys are marking your calendars, we've kind of fallen into a Tuesday and Thursday pattern. So we definitely appreciate you guys, your interest in Western Systems products, and encourage you to tap in for in the foreseeable future, as long as we're not doing remote meetings. So definitely reach out to your territory managers if you want any follow-up or to go into greater detail on any of these presentations. So anyway, I'll start with, for those of you, if you've got any new potential customers on the line, Western Systems is a company of about 50 employees headquartered in Everett, Washington. We started in 2001 manufacturing traffic signal cabinets, mostly for the state of Washington, but we've since expanded to cover just about everything you could find out on the street. So control cabinets, controllers, software, comm equipment, signal heads, anything that you might see as you're driving down the road. So today's goal is to talk to you guys a little bit about communication systems. So communications is kind of where it all starts. When you talk about the things that we're wanting to do, connect signals to make traffic flow more efficiently, bring back video cameras so you can have eyes on the street, see your detection cameras that you got out at the intersections. All of those rely on good communications. Doesn't matter if you're using fiber, copper, maybe wireless radios, anything that you have, Ruggedcom is your one-stop shop for all of those solutions. So what does that mean when we combine it with Western Systems? Well, we've got custom solutions that are specific to each agency. We've got a staff of people who are well-versed in networking. And so a lot of the times on the signal side, you guys aren't dealing specifically with the entire IT department, but you guys are an important piece of it, and often a customer of your guys' IT department. So our goal is to reach out to each of you individually and see, how involved you guys are or want to be in your guys' communications infrastructure, and see how we can help. So a couple nearby examples in the state of Washington. We're doing a project in Renton, Washington, where their IT department has a flat network. They're looking to maintain control, though, so there's often a lot of back and forth between the IT departments and the traffic signal folks, and our goal is to help you guys be as autonomous as you'd like to be. One of the things that Ruggedcom offers, and I'll let Curtis talk more about this, but truly hardened products that are meant to be inside traffic signal cabinets and in NEMA-rated enclosures. A lot of the off-the-shelf products you see out there are not going to be suitable for that kind of application. So at Western Systems, we'll go through the entire traffic signal network and find out what needs you guys might have. We've got the expertise to put together entire IT networks if necessary, or just handle things on a case-by-case basis that fits your guys' specific application. So Without further ado, again, I appreciate you tapping in, and I'll turn it over to Curtis to dive a little bit into Ruggedcom, and please ask any questions you might have using the chat feature.
Hello, everybody. I would say good morning, but I see some of you are from far and wide. Thank you for taking time out of your day to sit with us and discuss communications. I see a couple names on here I've worked with before and worked with closely and had known for a long time. So anyways, I hope you're all safe and healthy and wearing your best pajamas today. So yeah, my name is Curtis Daly. I am the regional sales manager for Ruggedcom within specifically the transportation market. There are others like me that focus on other markets like utilities, military, so on and so forth. Within Ruggedcom, we have specific teams set up just to sell into and assist specific markets. So that's right off the bat, that's one thing that is unique about the Siemens Ruggedcom organization. I cover a very large territory now. I used to be primarily close, Pacific, the Western regional sales manager, but now I push all the way out to Texas. I don't know if we've got anybody out there in the Midwest online, but I would be your go-to guy for Ruggedcom systems there as well. But yeah, like Kai had said, we have teamed up with Western Systems as our authorized distributor across a large portion of my territory. We pair up with the best there is out in the market as far as distributors. Western Systems offers everything we need, has a great organization with technical sales force, of course, their own manufacturing, wonderful sales team, a field team, and their leadership has been great too. So as far as Siemens goes, just a quick recap. Let me get this slide changed here. Let me go back up. So here are some of the topics we'll be going over today. I don't have a huge slide deck. That's not what I really wanted to. I don't need to go through every single Ruggedcom system, but I just want to touch on mostly applications and some of the projects we've been involved with, and hopefully that triggers some ideas on your part about if you have any plans in the future. You'll see that we're more than capable to support you on that. But quick history on Ruggedcom for some of you who might not know. Ruggedcom was its own company, started back in 2001 to develop obviously hardened, rugged communication networking equipment for OT networks, outside networks that have to be in harsh conditions. Utilities was the primary focus, but quickly, the company saw that transportation, military, all these other markets could use this type of technology. Back in 2012, Siemens acquired Ruggedcom, the company, and made Ruggedcom now a product line. So they took away all that nice, pretty orange or yellow striping, and they're very minimalistic, the Germans. So anyway, it's all built the same, all engineered the same. They didn't touch us one bit, other than I guess financials run back to Germany. But it's been nice because Ruggedcom has maintained the quality and the efficiency that it had, as a small company, now being enveloped by Siemens, worldwide. But what I was alluding to there is Ruggedcom is still Ruggedcom. For those of you that haven't worked with or used our systems before, we offer the most hardened networking equipment out there. We're preferred in the harshest conditions, whether it's the Middle East deserts, whether just deployed for cities there or in battle ground situations. 8 Alaska DOTs, one of they sole source Ruggedcom for their DOT network. We're on battleships, but here in the U.S., we're preferred in some of the hottest environments. Even in California, in the southeastern part, or the deserts out there, Caltrans 8 network. Out into Arizona, but things that here are some bullet points that make us the most hardened is, first of all, as an example, I was meeting with a couple end users when we could all meet a couple months ago, and we were talking about some of their equipment that they bought back in 2004, and that I think they bought, 26 switches, and then all 26 of those are still running. And this is in Idaho, where you can get pretty severe weather up there. A 5-year warranty, and as far as support goes, we have lifetime technical support for all of our products. It's an 800 number, but then we also have local field technical support guys that I'm more than happy to reach out to on your behalf. Quite often, if you're a new end user and you're doing a large deployment of a Ruggedcom, I'll have one of our guys fly out, or if he's local, come out there and assist you with the initial setup. Outstanding references, I'm going to point out a few of those as we go through the slide deck. And one little thing that I think is lost in the conversation is Ruggedcom is the only manufacturer that has internal power supplies to all of our solutions, except for this one switch. But it's a key component, because now you're not relying on a contractor to buy a cheapest power supply they can find on the market and installing that in the cabinet. So now you've got a point of failure there. Whereas all Ruggedcom systems, you already have the power supply internal, and it's as hardened as our switches are. But now getting on to applications, we have, Kaya mentioned this, we have end-to-end communication solutions, whether it's layer 3 for routing, layer 2, all the various switches, wireless, whether it's WiMAX, radio-based, media converters, PoE, whatever you're looking for, we have a communication solution for the hardware for that. Here's a number of applications that you're all familiar with, that we have installations in and we support. And I'll go through some slides here. Trying to think. So the most common, right, is traffic signal connectivity. Whether it's copper, Ethernet over fiber, or Ethernet over copper, or fiber-based networks, we have switches, small form factor cabinet switches to support that. And then as far as the switches go, there's different port counts depending on what Ruggedcom switch you're looking at. As you can see down there, I listed a couple of our switches, such as the first bullet point there is the RSL 910. That's an Ethernet over copper switch. West Hollywood, California standardized on that for their cabinet connectivity. And so you go down the list here, different switches. Probably one of the most interesting projects here is this Bellevue, Washington project, where they used our 19-inch 1U rack mount switch, the RST2228. It also has supports PoE in the second version there, the RST2228T. But again, it's a 19-inch 1U rack mount. And what Bellevue had the plans to do, and I'll say the resources, financial probably being key, was they deployed this as a 10 gigabit switch. So, a lot of end users out there, the first, if you don't have any connectivity in the ground, whether it's copper or fiber, pretty much from there, your only resource is trying to go with a wireless connectivity, whether it's radio or cellular. There is a lot of end users who at least have copper through the conduit, and if it's good or bad, sometimes they can try and use that to connect up their cabinets. And then as time has gone on, a lot of agencies are now starting to get fiber in the ground. Of course, then you're moving to fiber-based switches to create your communication network. Whether it's basic fiber, 100FX speed and bandwidth, or you bumped up to 1 gigabit speed and bandwidth. But what Bellevue did here was they were at 100FX using our Ruggedcom switches for their 100FX fiber network. They had a vision of applications working with local businesses, emergency services, light rail transport, bus rapid transport, as well as their basic traffic operations. So they wanted to, instead of just making that jump up to 1 gigabit, they had, like I said, the resources to look at going all the way to 10 gigabit, which is by far and away more than most ITS networks need, but based on their vision and all those multi-use applications, they were moving ahead with a 10 gigabit network. They were trying to work it out. We were about 9 months away from having this RFQ2228 fully tested, designed and developed. But they were in a rush and trying to spend some budgetary money that they had, and they tried to move forward with a competitive solution. And that was not working out. It continuously was failing out in the field. The competitor apparently had rushed the design and manufacturing. But anyway, it was not panning out for them. And finally, we came out with ours, and we rushed it over to them, our first demo unit. And it worked flawlessly, and they loved it. And so they requested it. I think we started out with 140 units of this. So their goal was to install all, 230 intersections with a 19-inch 1U rack mount, 10 gigabit switch. And so we've gone ahead and done that since. And like I said, they're supporting multiple agencies on this. And I'll add this because I think this is really what separates this project from anything people are doing today, but definitely supporting what we're all looking forward to in the future, which is this connected city concept, right? What they are doing is testing out a few applications by local. They're an IT city, so to speak, like a Silicon Valley up there in Washington. But they have a company there who has a software. It incorporates facial recognition, driver's license recognition, right? And it takes that information and, of course, captures that via security cameras, PTZ cameras throughout the city, and it can track you, right? We're starting to talk about Big Brother stuff, but this is all part of an application that they are targeting called predictive law enforcement. So I'll give you a quick example here. If you've got a criminal he's got a record, right? And they know his right. They know his name, and of course they can when they see the vehicle license plate, they can look up. The system automatically looks up who owns that vehicle, and of course the name, and then runs that name through a database. Well, then they know, and then they also know where that person lives by that record. So if they happen to see that license, that person is traveling through a certain neighborhood, and let's say they're at 12 midnight. But they know that person lives way across town or even in a different city. Well, they send a police car, a squad car over in that direction. There's no need to make an arrest. But now at least you have law enforcement that much closer and able to respond that much quicker should there, lo and behold, be a break-in, should this person obviously break parole, so to speak. So, that's a quick example. Another one has to do with what do you call it, predators, right? If you've got a guy who should not be within so many feet of a school, and you happen to pick up their license plate or catch their face on the cameras, and they are within that boundary, you send a cop car over. So really interesting stuff. And again, we're doing that over a 10 gigabit Ruggedcom switch, RST2228. So private wireless broadband, again, this just shows that we have end-to-end solutions. This is a WiMAX-based solution. It can work on a number of frequencies. A couple examples here. Springfield, Oregon, I like this one a lot because we're right in the middle of doing this project and about to deploy it. And they are using our WiMAX solution with a base station at their city hall, and then they're equipping 40 plus intersections. You have to, there's still line of sight considerations. You have to have a pretty clear line of sight so the radio waves can make it through. And they're connecting up 40 plus intersections via our wireless system and bringing all their traffic data, cabinet, ITS solutions back to City Hall through wirelessly. We also, as part of this project, we're having our professional services team, which I'll mention later, but we have a professional services team that is going to be out there in the field, actually guiding the install and then doing all the testing and documentation, and then doing a training afterwards on using the system. Launch.Olympic also relies heavily on us for that. They don't use wireless, they use all of our hardware solutions, but they have our professional services team come in and hold their hand, so to speak, or integrators stand while the system gets put in. And new users really benefit from that because they know when the integrator walks away, the contractors, and we leave, that their system is going to be running without any hiccups, and they'll be proficient at using it. Transit priority, whether it's BRT or light rail systems, the WiMAX solution can play a part in that, along with some of our hardware or fiber or Ethernet over copper. Some end users here, we have Phoenix Light Rail and Denver Light Rail. So there's another application. What this really supports here is this bill of materials were two things. One, now I'm forgetting the acronym, but a couple of years ago, if any of you remember, there was a big push for positive train control. There was a rash of train accidents, especially here in Southern California, the LA area, as well as people being hit by, trains going off the rail and then cars and people being hit by trains. Well, the federal government stepped in and mandated that all light rail has to update their systems called the PTC, positive train control, so they can better identify the location of the train, the speed of the train, if anything's on the track. So really had to update their rail networks for safety reasons, also an operation and safety reasons. But additionally, what this allowed them to do was create better service for the people on board the train by putting in this more robust network as well as a wireless network. As the train moved along the tracks, the internet connection was passed from subscriber unit to subscriber unit along the side of the track, maintaining a consistent and quality of service level for the people on board to access local content or as well as Wi-Fi, so they can be on their laptops and whatnot, with a better connection. So, all right, active traffic management and open road tolling. Now this starts to bring in a higher level of networking where you need layer 3 capabilities. So here we have the RX 5000 or the RX 1510 family, but you see some end users there like WashDOT, especially around the Seattle area, Idaho DOT for remote communications, Caltrans 8, segmenting their network and putting in firewalls out on the edge. But with our layer 3 systems, you're able to do things like that. It says muted. Can everybody hear me, or can somebody hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, sorry, I just said I was muted for a second. That threw me off. Sorry about that. Yeah, so like I said, for WashDOT, they were putting our routers out there to better traffic data with active traffic management systems where they would switch lane control devices over for rush hour and in the morning going one way and going north, and then people leaving work coming south in the evenings. Same with the open road tolling. Regarding Idaho DOT, they had a number of applications, same with Oregon DOT, where they're trying to connect up to networks in small towns far away. Within these routers, you can also, they're modular. I guess I should make sure you understand that. Our routers, as well as now the RSP2228, some of our switches, we have modular design. So you can order these systems with specific ports and cellular modules or whatever sort of ports you're looking for. And as your needs change, now you can just order a different module and we ship that to you. You turn it, you plug it in, you reboot the system, and now you've got more fiber ports, or like I said, a cellular module. They're really great for that. So you don't have to buy in the whole new system or send a system back to have it rebuilt by a manufacturer. Now I see right down here, you'll see at the bottom Ruggedcom 8 module. What the 8 is, it's a small computer, and it's a module that could go in our routers. And what this allows you to do is host. It's Linux based, and you can host whatever it'll support. Well, you can host a variety of software applications on this of your choosing. One good example in our industry, or a couple of examples, is the license plate recognition. You can put this on this computer that's out there in the cabinet, and you can run the calculations and the of that software there remotely, so you're not having to pass that data all the way through your network to where you might host it on a computer or a server back at your traffic command center. You can have it all done there on the edge, and then have the results sent back to you at your traffic command center. The same thing would go with, and this term always gets me, but what is it? Where you're controlling the adaptive signal control. Thank you. You know, you can run the software out there on the edge and have your network doing its job there. Again, you're not passing that data all the way back to the network. You're having those calculations and the adaptive signal control software being done out on the edge more efficiently than having it jump back and forth across the network back to your traffic command center. So that leads us to a conversation, and I'd like to do a separate webinar here on edge computing. We're putting that together, and we'll of course ping you all on it, but I think there's a deeper conversation to be had on that, especially with connected cities and a lot of the applications that cities or agencies are starting to implement. But if you have any questions on that, please let me know. Okay, so let me just make sure I didn't lose some. All right, so this is a slide, as you can see by the picture over there, a ton of different options. You see all the names over here. I don't need to go through them. But I should have jumped to this slide. But this is our modular routers. Again, you can see over to the right. Those are modules within those chassis there. I've already informed you about that. Here I'll jump to, this is our RX1400. It's our rugged cellular modem. It has 2 fiber ports built in and then 4 Ethernet ports. It also has a couple of RS-232 ports. But the Idaho DOT uses this, like I said, ODOT, Oregon DOT, for remote communications, but it also has that same technology in it with the computer. So you can, again, host applications on the edge. But also having, like I had mentioned earlier with Cal State, using a router out in the field helps you segment your network, and it creates another layer of security because you can build a firewall, out there instead of someone who's trying to break in, allowing them to get to multiple. Let's say they plug in, having this layer 3 technology out there with firewall allows you to really trap them within a small area of your network. And that's sort of some of the agencies I'm working with are starting to move in that direction. Here we go. We have a network management software. It's been developed for over 10 years now. So, all the quote-unquote bugs have been worked out. If anybody is a user of ours currently and wants to look at this, let me know. We do have an evaluation version of it we can get to you. And I'll have one of my tech guys, again, hold your hand as you set it up and get familiar with it. Ruggedcom, and I've kind of alluded to this as I've gone through this discussion, but we have everything that you need, not just from a hardware perspective, but we have everything you need from a network perspective. I mentioned we have the professional services. They can help you in design, or they can help you in implementation. We can do trainings just to get you up to speed on networking for your staff or new hires, if you need something like that. So we have the network management software. We also have a number of cybersecurity, network security application softwares now for next-gen firewall, network access management, intrusion detection solution, and then inventory management. So whatever your needs are. So we got professional services group. We got the hardware. I'm showing you here the software. And then we also have professional certification trainings, either from an entry point, networking 101 certification training, and then there's a step up from that. There's a second network, 102, let's say, network certification training, and then there's router certification training. So we have everything like I said, everything you could think of for networking now. As far as, let me just jump there. And the last little thing I'll throw out there, support. One of the things we've always hung our hat on. We have that free technical support via online or phone, but as I'd already mentioned, we have field technical guys all throughout the U.S. and I have full access to those. So if you're, like I said, a current user running into troubles, and for whatever reason you're not getting the support you need from our free online technical support, let me know. I can get you in touch with one of my guys in the field. And as you know, we've teamed up with Western Systems. They have an excellent technical staff. They're there to, whether it's California, Oregon, Idaho, Washington, Montana, so on and so forth. They're there to support Ruggedcom as well. So that is the meat of my presentation. There is my contact information. And I think Connor was going to mention that I can share this he'll share the presentation with anybody, or I can share it with you. But I'll leave it open to questions at this point.
All right, great. Thanks, Curtis. We'll get going on the Q&A process. So if you have any questions, please feel free to use the chat feature within your GoToWebinar toolbar, and Curtis will answer those. But I did just want to let everyone know that we do have another webinar upcoming this Thursday. It's improving traffic flow in real time with Siemens Scoot. So make sure you are on the lookout for that one, and hope to see you all there. It's that Thursday at 2 p.m. All right, so we'll get going on the Q&A. So Curtis, first question for you is, do you have demo equipment?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I mentioned that previously about the, I guess from the software, I mentioned the network management software demo or eval, but yeah, for all of our hardware, whether it's the wireless, the WiMAX, or our switches, routers, we provide evaluation units, 30 days, 60 days, whatever you're looking for. Right now, the city of Anaheim has been testing our RST2228 10G switch, another switch, the RSG920P, for some time now. Pasadena has looked at our RX5000, Caltrans. Well, anyway, so yes, whether it's the cabinet switch or routers, we have eval units available.
All right, and the next one is, what type of technical support and/or resources do you offer?
Yeah, so I alluded to that, or I talked about that, but whether you want us to come in, well, yeah, it's coming. But when we can come in, or if you want to do it online, we have, I mentioned these people out in the field, technical resources in the field. We're more than happy to do some sort of networking 101, or come in and even discuss your specific networking with you, help you out with that. If it's a new install, I can bring a person on site if you need that sort of guidance. But so from a feet on the ground, boots on the ground standpoint, and with Western Systems as well, we have plenty of personnel to support you locally or one-to-one, and then we got the technical support line.
Great, and looks like last one we got here is, does Ruggedcom work with other manufacturers?
Yeah, so across the board, whether it's our switches from a layer 2 perspective or routers, we're agnostic. I think one of the big things that always seems to come up that's attached to this question is really Cisco, because your IT departments have almost all standardized on Cisco, and that's one of the pushbacks most new Ruggedcom users get, is their IT department, first of all, tries to push you into Cisco, and then secondly, they say, well, you got to find somebody who's compatible with Cisco. So I've been aboard since 2012, and both what I've been told and what I've internally and what I've been told and experienced with working with end users is that Ruggedcom actually works the best with Cisco. This doesn't need to be Cisco specific, this conversation, but I'm just saying that seems to be really the big thing, because all the other manufacturers that are out there that are producing similar solutions, technology, hardware, we all work together fine. But really, Cisco becomes a sticking point, and I'd say 95% of the time work flawlessly with them. That other 5% of the time is when the Cisco user is implementing some Cisco specific, data transition. I can't think of the key word right now, but anyways, I've had that conversation a number of times with IT, the IT department, and once we go through all of our security and the security features that come standard with our systems, as well as they operate and how they can communicate to their Cisco, 100% of the time the IT department is going to thumbs up and let us come in. Well, that's not entirely true, I'll be honest. Or Caltrans in Orange County, they were the only ones who IT, even though we checked all the boxes and they saw that we had a great system, they just said, no, we're Cisco. We're going to stay with Cisco. But so we can work with everybody.
Great. Well, that's all the questions we have. So thank you, Curtis, and thank you everyone for attending today's webinar. Have a great rest of your day.